Hey, this is Matt once again. What about another video? There's another paid request, this time for Phil. Thank you so much for that. For those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, topics, commentaries, reviews, whatever it may be, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or join my Patreon. Both links are down below in the info box. And this is for the film Annihilation, which I had talked about this film before, but sadly, the video, there were some issues with it, so it was gone. But it gives me a chance to talk about the film again, rewatch the film again, see if my opinions change or anything, and have a review of it on the channel. Now, Annihilation is based on a book, and it was a film that, for most of the world, kind of got dumped to Netflix. It stars Natalie Portman, Jason Leigh, Óscar Isaac, and this is a movie that, when I first saw it, and even now, I have a very mixed opinion on. Which is funny because I think at the time people were like, this is a love or hated movie. It's a movie that the first half I don't really care for because I think it's slow, it's plotting. I think the acting, for the most part, isn't the greatest. Jason Leigh, I think, gives her worst performance. Very tired. And you say, oh, it's because of what her character's going through. But at the same time, I think there's better ways to incorporate that in terms of acting. The setup of the film is Natalie Portman's husband is missing, presumed dead, but then he shows back up and he's acting strangely. And that's played by Óscar Isaac. One thing leads to another, they're quarantined. And they have to figure out what to do. And so they go into this thing called the Shimmer, where Óscar Isaac had gone in with men before then. And apparently it's a thing people have been studying for 3 years, and they've learned nothing. I mean, if you study for 3 years and learn nothing, then you suck at your job. And tell about how this Shimmer, this bubble, was getting bigger, and they go in with a team. Natalie Portman, Jason Leigh, Tessa Thompson, and a few others. Only one of them with a gun, which I don't understand why you just have one person with a gun. You think you want a bit more protection, but okay. And I guess they don't wear suits because they mention how when you go in, I guess your DNA is altered no matter what. I'm trying to remember if they knew that before they went in or is not. As like the first half of the film, it feels like they're trying to really lead you by the hand, over explaining certain things, or really trying to hone in on certain aspects. But then as the movie gets along, it gets a bit more ambiguous. And they're like, well, we're not going to lead you on the hand too much. The second half, I didn't mind, though. The second half I didn't mind because I liked its visual creativity. I liked its visual creativity in the second half. You know, the Shimmer itself, the kind of kaleidoscope effect of it, these mutations within it. Now, granted, if you see the trailer or trailers, it gives most of that away. So really, you just watch the trailers for it, but it was cool to see this cross-pollination of different creatures. And there's like very briefly, this weird-looking deer-like creatures. One I thought was an awful effect was this gator, really bad CGI, and then you look in his teeth and it's got sharp teeth. I thought that effect would have been a lot better. Later on, there's this really creepy-looking bear. That was an effective scene. It's a bear-like creature, but with like a skull. And then it screams out in a human voice, "Help me." That was very effective, very creepy. And I do wish that was in more of the movie. I do wish that was much more of a component of the film. Because I thought that was effective. But yeah, the first half of the film I thought was very slow moving and fairly boring. I kind of wish they got into the Shimmer a lot earlier. Show, don't tell type of story. Does it even the visual creativity is one of the shining points of it. Like they get to an empty swimming pool, and they see a person embedded in the wall, and like the top half is exploded in this weird flower grizzly design, but the bottom half is still there, and like that's a very eerie sight, very eerie look. And the big part of the film is about self-destruction and what you bring to it, kind of maybe to be elevated, so to speak, and a whole theme of self-destruction. For what I understand, some people were saying that the book, there's a lot of the book cut out, and that's why where at times it seems a bit confusing or things don't quite track as well as they should is because they were in the book but they were taken out of it, or things of that nature. I'm like, well, okay, well, all I can do is judge what I'm seeing here. And they're just certain character decisions that are just weird. Like, they see a tape where, I think it was Óscar Isaac himself, he looks at his stomach and there's like this swirling, glowing I'm not sure if it's him or his buddy, I'm trying to remember. There's like the glowing crap in a stomach. And that's horrifying and crazy. And then one of the characters go, oh, that was a trick of the light. Trick of the light? What the hell are you talking about, trick of the light? With all the stuff you've seen already, and what you've seen with your two eyes, you think it's trick of the light? And also in the first half, they do this framing device where, from time to time, like Natalie Portman, she's asked questions by these scientists in hazmat suits. Then it goes back to... I thought that really broke the momentum, it broke the flow, where the movie would stop, then go back to Natalie Portman answering questions, then go back to this, then stop, then go back to this. I thought, no, let's stick with their... Don't disrupt the flow. Stop disrupting the flow of the story. I guess the reason, why they use hazmat suits in that, but not in the Shimmer, I guess the DNA gets altered whether you have a hazmat suit on or not. And it seems like anyone that goes in there either disappear or get killed, maybe because of the spoiler alert, the self-destruction nature, and they kind of overtake it themselves, where each one has their own baggage, and whatever baggage they bring in, it didn't facilitate. But instead they're going, well, not every person... I guess that's the point of the movie, is that everything has a self-destructive... Humanity itself has a self-destructive quality, but there are people that build. And my stomach apparently groaned at that. My stomach went, I know. That's what I'm saying. It's that there's people that build and create and save, and whether it be doctors and other stuff that help on charity, help on this and that. You know, humanity, yes, has a self-destructive quality, but we have a creative quality, whether create music, create movies, create imagination, create art, help people, save people's lives. There are some bad cops, but there's good cops. There's some shitty doctors, but there's great doctors. And it never really goes into the flip side of things. It never goes into, well, what if someone who's not self-destructive, what if someone who's much more creative, will that give a change of pace? Will that give a certain different sense to this world, this design, things of that nature? But does everything that goes in either turn into flowers, which is a cool visual, where it's flowers but in the shaped silhouette of a person. One character turns into, I would call, a nightlight, I don't know how else to put it, with a beam out of her mouth. Because all the people that go in are ladies. So a beam comes out of her mouth, like this low pan, with light coming out of his mouth. And turns into like a big ball. Very psychedelic, eerie, visual quality to it. Same with, there's this one, like, alien creature thing that's like kind of a black mannequin, but mimics Natalie Portman's character. That was a very eerie scene. And even then, not just the visual, but the music. That's the scene where when it's kind of mimicking Natalie Portman and creeping up on her, you have this very weird music that works excellently with the scene. You can find it on YouTube. I can't mimic it right, but it was really cool, and I wish more of the score was like that. I wish this piece of music was shown throughout more of the movie to give it much more of that mood, thick atmosphere to it. But I really like that piece of music. And like I said, that bear skull monster with "Help me," that was a creepy, suspenseful sequence. It's like, I wish there was more of this and less of the boring, tedious build-up. I think also because it was so boring, tedious, because the characters, I don't mind Natalie Portman as an actress, and her performance was there, but it's not like, I don't sit here and say it's one of her best performances. The other people were rather dry, and Jason Leigh felt like she was on Xanax the whole time. And you just say, well, there's this thing with her character, and that's why. But yeah, but I think there are better ways you could do that. She still felt like she was bored, and, hello, how you doing? So there's this thing called the Shimmer, and we gotta go into this thing here. It just, new quality to the term sleepwalking, a sleepwalking performance. And that's really what it came off for Jason Leigh. And I've seen her do better. She was in The Hitcher from 1986. She's been in movies that I've seen her do better. So she was told to act this way. You're sick, so that means you're on Xanax. So again, it gives this thing, this whole, spoiler alert, this whole self-destructive nature to it. I'm sitting there going, so is everybody who went in this thing self-destructive? Every single person? For 3 years? Every single person. If that's a big part of this quality. No one was able to fight it with hope and dreams and think their family, their friends, all that stuff. The ability to create, there's no other flip side to it. But I guess that's Natalie Portman, I guess. But even then, it almost makes me confused as to why she survived. And it did more in the spoilers, because there's never that moment where she like fights the temptation to self-destruct. If that's the regular human temptation, the regular human effect, that's how humanity is. There's never that moment where she fights that instinct, where she fights that compulsion, and is reminded the ability to create, whether create with birth, create life, or create anything in between. And like her self-destruction quality is that even though she loved Óscar Isaac, she cheated on him. And you get the idea Óscar Isaac knew, and that's why he went for this possible suicide mission in the first place, because he cared a lot less. And you find out that the real Óscar Isaac died. But there's a moment where her almost succumbing to it. Because then you get to the idea of, like, well, why are you alive? Why did you survive? Why are you still here? Why have you not succumbed? And because there's a point where a person walks out, and literally in a matter of 10 seconds, she turned to flowers. And said, okay, well, it says that there's points that Natalie Portman were turned into flowers in 10 seconds. So I never get a sense of, well, why is she not turned to flowers? It says there's points that she's succumbing to it, or she's obsessed, or she's not obsessed, but she's upset about it. And it's like, again, people with the DNA altering and, I don't know, their emotion, they just succumb to these things, which self-destruction. I keep repeating that. But I don't think there was well-established Natalie Portman fighting that off. At least to me, not only as well-established as some people say it was. That's just me, though. That's just me. But on the flip side, I do not mind the idea of this alien mimicking her and then starts looking like her. I know there's some people that say, well, is it the replica alien that made it out alive? But unless the camera and the director just wanted to blatantly lie to people, the camera never really stops. Yeah, there's a point she gets knocked out, but like she's in the same spot, and the alien's in the same spot, and the alien's acting more weird, is maybe looking at Óscar Isaac, and almost as if in being perfect mimicry with her, because she felt the guilt, it feels the guilt of cheating on Óscar Isaac. It kind of, how do I put it, inherited the self-destructive quality, so then it destroys itself and destroys a lot of the Shimmer, and Natalie Portman escapes. And then at the end of the film, super spoilers, it said earlier in the film that as soon as you enter here, your DNA starts getting altered. And not many people have gotten out of the Shimmer once they went in. And so I guess I would assume she's kind of like an alien-human hybrid, while this Óscar Isaac is an alien, but probably has the same feelings and thoughts of her husband. So maybe for Natalie Portman, this is like her second chance to. But at the end of the day, I don't know if the ending's to imply that, well, the two of them are going to start another Shimmer and it's going to take over the world, or maybe to imply that maybe we can change the perspective, and because, you know what, I don't want to destroy our relationship, I want to create a new relationship again, and this would create something better. But what that would entail or look like, I don't know. There's never a moment where, okay, what if this happens where you're not self-destructive, where it's the opposite? You want to fight. The will to live, the will to survive, the will to do better, the opposite plus side of it. That's never really put into the forte of the story. I mean, the film itself is called Annihilation. But I would like to have seen the flip side to it. And then again, the fact that the trailers give everything away. Again, if you see the trailer, you've seen all the best parts of it. I said the first half, it is a very tedious, slow, boring build. It feels like it takes forever to get in the Shimmer. And then when you do get into the Shimmer, other than, again, the awful CG alligator, crocodile, I forget what it was. Other than that, it's pretty nice to look at visually, some interesting ideas, creativity. There's just some pieces of music, so a couple suspenseful scenes, like that creepy bear stole that thing. Like I said, I don't know if this stuff I'm talking about is in the book. I don't know if it's in the source material. certain things and questions I have. If that's answered in the source material, I don't know. But I just see how this is a movie that, like I said, I'm in the middle. I don't love it. I don't hate it. I don't mind Natalie Portman as an actress. But I don't think she's given a lot of... It seems like there's potential to have some good acting moments, but I don't know. I don't think there's a lot to shine in there. I don't, like, everyone's like told to act as monotone as possible to get your theme across. So I don't know about that. So that's my flippy floppy review of Annihilation. I'm not sure what else to say. Thanks for watching. Take care. We'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.